What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. I'm Ace. It's American Fire. We're doing it tonight, folks. We are getting into it. Back to my regular scheduled program. Hope you guys enjoyed last night with Mr. Tom Luongo. If you didn't catch it, you've got to watch it. People are already making fun of Tom's mouth. Listen, you know, Tom, he's got a very colorful way with language, and I love it, man. He's just so good, and I enjoyed that so much last night. I felt I learned stuff. His insights are so fantastic, and even though him and I both have different backgrounds, we are tracking, I feel like, very similarly as to where we're headed, what's going on in the world right now. So just loved having him, and I hope you guys did too. So, and if you haven't seen it, what are you waiting for? Go back, watch last night's live. It's incredible, and it was one of the honors I've had since doing my show to have him on, because I really respect that man and the work he's doing. So glad you guys are here tonight. Holy cow. So I am watching tonight. Today has been a wild day, guys. I tell you what, the influencer crowd is just, it's getting bad. The psyops are going to a whole nother level. And so we got to talk about this tonight. We are at the turning point. Like, there's no going back at this point now. I should actually say the tipping point, because things have gotten so bad in this psyop magosphere, or fagosphere, I should call it, where they're all turning so much, if true, going to send MAGA and this world into a tizzy. So we have to keep our heads straight. We have to navigate forward with clarity, logic, and actually pay attention to what's going on and not what people are trying to feed us. So tonight we're going to be breaking it down, the latest in the psyop world. We're going to cover the latest in Iran, some major developments going on, especially with oil. Trump had the Prime Minister of Japan today. That got really interesting. And then the intelligence hearing that's been going on. I have a couple highlights between Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel, John Ratcliffe, and the Senate. So buckle in, guys. Got a large show tonight. Lots to cover, especially because last night was more of a broader picture show. So I also didn't cover the news as much last night. So anyway, is sound gone? I already have people asking me about the sound. Is it a problem? Am I too quiet? What's going on? Did I lose sound? Awesome. That's what I just love to hear, that I'm already having sound issues. And let me check something here. I guess some people had to restart. All right, let me know, guys. If you restart, just try refreshing when the sound goes out. It could just be your browser, because everything looks good on my end. So there's some people who've lost their sound. So sorry, Alice. I don't know what to tell you. Anyways, I'll let you guys sort it out. But listen, if it goes bad, please, everybody hit me at once. Okay. A lot of people are saying I'm fine. So, all right. I'm a little nervous. You know, I was great last night, but the night before we had sound issues. Okay. We're about to get into it. Before we get started, guys, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you guys as always. That's the best way to support the channel while watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the hype button if it shows up. I don't know if it shows up during lives, but it definitely shows up the next day. So that really helps my channel a lot. And all right, so as we're going, hit the repost on X, and let's say hey to the chat, and then we're going to get moving. Wagga Waka, what's up, brother? Cass Sink, Mike Mishler, Eric Brumball's in the house. What's going on, buddy? Scott Volkovich, Alice Fordham, Shogun, Just Mike, what's up? Pat M, US1, AZ Tropic on Rumble, Lochtefeld on Rumble, Marco Sanchez, what's going on? Action Not Words, Jesus Saves Me, what's going on? Jay Tyrus, what's up? Carson Cruz, like the title, no going back. That's right, baby. We're all in. Linda Telly's here. Jeff Hoffler, what's up, man? Never up this late. Bub says, great show last night. Thank you so much. Ruel, what's going on? Kevin Nicholson, what's up? Linda Goik, let's see here. Tammy Anderson, what's up? The Rum Dog, what's going on in the house tonight? Who am I missing anybody? Jimmy, what's up, brother? He hears me. All right, I love it. MH, what's going on? Make it go. Sound is awesome, he says. That's what I want to hear. I really like that. Cindy Lou, who her sound's not working. Sorry, Cindy. Hopefully you catch on the replay. Nick Majors, what's going on, brother? And everybody else seems good. Vincent, what is going on? CA Human, welcome. All right. Sorry, ex-viewers, I cannot see you. It's just the way it is. Maybe Elon will fix that someday. Okay, let's get going, guys, because it's already late. All right, I wanted to start with this tonight. Comey has been subpoenaed in the grand conspiracy investigation in Southern Florida. This is kind of what we've been waiting for, the beginning. Now, yes, he was indicted before. It didn't go anywhere. But, guys, that was early. All right, that was early last year. Well, early in the fall. And I think they were still building this case. Remember, they dropped it before he could go through anything, which means it's still viable to indict him again. I think they did it to kind of put everybody on blast when Tulsi was releasing a lot of the Russiagate info last year. But now we officially have it. The grand jury is set up in Florida, which is exactly what we want. We want it in Florida because if it's in Florida, there's actually a chance of moving forward. If it was in DC, it would be destroyed immediately. So this is excellent news. We get so Comey is now subpoenaed. He's going to be going before the grand jury, and they are going to decide what to do with this grand conspiracy investigation. I'm very excited about where this might go. This is the beginning of it. There's a lot to come. John Solomon's been reporting on this. We know Tulsi's got a lot of receipts. They've done the raids in Georgia and Arizona. They've obviously been looking into the Russiagate stuff since last summer, compiling everything. So we're getting closer and closer to where we'll start seeing results. So wanted to start with a little good news tonight, just to show you guys that things are progressing. And for the no rest people, listen, I wrote something today just to address the blackpilling because it's out of control. And I know so many good people. I really mean good people who are just totally blackpilled about Trump right now. Actually, I shouldn't say so many. It's not so many. It's a few, but it's a few I really respect. That's the part that sucks the most. And they are just, as all this keeps coming out, the Joe Kent stuff, Tucker's full on turned, all these people just, it keeps going. And as this is going, they're just getting caught up in it. And I know some people who just, they cannot look at anything beyond the Epstein files not going the way they wanted. They don't think logically about it, but it just didn't go the way they wanted so far. So they're just like, we're done, or that the markets aren't completely fixed yet, or that we're in Iran at all. And they had this belief that by voting for Trump, that he would never even like bomb another country or never even do anything militaristically, which just nobody who knew Trump actually believed that. But a lot of people thought that. And so the blackpilling is just, it's increasing. And what I'm noticing, Tom and I talked about this last night. There are so many people who just had like, they're so worn down after decades of disappointment. They've gotten their hopes up. They've voted new people in. They have, fought the good fight. They tried things and they just didn't get to where they wanted. And so now they're giving up. They thought Trump was going to fix everything right away. And because it's taking time, well, they're taking that as, they're seeing the pattern they've seen before. But the problem is they're not looking close enough and they're not doing the work. And I kind of understand it because they just don't feel like they should have to. They should feel they were ready for this to be easier. Well, we're at war, folks. War's not easy. War is when you buckle down and put your head down. And this is a time where you pick who to trust and you have to stick by them. And if they completely betray you, well, then but there's always warning signs first, guys. There's always warning signs. And this is why I tell my audience all the time. I tell you guys all the time, I trust Trump and I pick him over everybody else. The guy took a bullet for me. As that's how I see it. He took a bullet for me. That he went through hell legally for us. He almost had his wealth completely stolen from him. He lost half his wealth in his first term. Went from $4 billion net wealth to $2 billion. I mean, he's the only president who didn't get way richer their first term in office. So listen, this is, as far as I'm concerned, I have trust because he proved it. To me, he proved it. And I also recognized, because I'm a political science junkie, how our system works and how hard it is to get so much done when you literally have almost nobody else on your side. Congress isn't helping. The judges certainly aren't helping. The Supreme Court has kind of helped, but not on everything. And they can only do so much anyways because they move so slow and just those wheels turn slow. So to think that everything would have been done in 14 months is just asinine. It's literally insanity. And to think we haven't made massive leaps forward already is just crazy. And yet people think that. And I guess, the vast majority of them are just hearing what they want to hear. They're people who they're so far gone. They're just not going to trust anything no matter what, until maybe it's all over and then it's like eyes open. But again, I always go back to the fact that only 30% of colonists wanted freedom from Britain in 1776. 30%. 70% were just like, cool, we'll stay. You're indentured servants because we don't want to do the work. And that, they were like, it'd be nice to be free, but we're not willing to fight for it. And listen, unfortunately, that's how it is. See, it's not majorities that change the world. It's passionate minorities. That's the truth. Passionate people who band together and refuse to quit. And that's what changes the world. And you get into power and then you do it trickle down. And I mean, that's how we got to where we're at. The passionate minority of hardcore leftist commies, liberals, woke tards, they are majorly a minority in this country, and yet they took power and they changed the country. Well, it's going to take that passionate other side to take it back. And there's just not enough people right now. Well, there is enough because we won. But there's a lot of people falling off, and it's because of FAGA. I love to call them FAGA. It's because of this group of people who are major influencers who have done nothing for us their entire lives except talk to us. And they are all of a sudden like turning on Trump. And you can guess the reasons why. I don't think it's very hard. But let's get right into it on this because we have to break it down. I have to cover this stuff because, guys, it's a psyop. It is a coordinated psyop to try and ruin us, to try and destroy this movement. And it's so obvious now. It gets more obvious by the day. And we have to cover it because the only way to break through it is to show everybody so we can all see it. And so here we go. Yesterday, Mr. Kent went on Tucker's podcast and he said a lot of ridiculous things, but to me, this was the most ridiculous.
Was Iran on the verge of getting a nuclear weapon?
No, they weren't, 3 weeks ago when this started, and they weren't in June either. I mean, the Iranians have had a religious ruling, a fatwa, against actually developing a nuclear weapon since 2004. That's been in place since 2004. That's available in the public sphere. But then,
okay, did you guys hear what he just said? He said that Iran, his reasoning, it's one thing to say, oh, they didn't have They weren't nukes. They weren't imminent. We had no intelligence on that. But that's not what he said. He says we didn't have that intelligence. And then he makes an absolutely ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous claim that Iran, the reason they knew they wouldn't have nukes is because Iran had a fatwa, which is a religious declaration, against having nukes since 2004. This man did 11 tours in Iraq, Afghanistan, whatever, during the war on terror while we're over there. He's the director of counterterrorism. Most terrorists we deal with are Islamic. This man should be the most knowledgeable expert on Islam, on Muslims, their terrorist networks against us out of anybody. He has no excuse. This is who this guy is supposed to be. It's your job, bro. And yet, little old me, little old 90% of everybody who's been paying attention since the Iraq-Afghanistan war, since 9/11, look, there's a whole lot of bad that came out of that, and we hate it, and it was terrible. But everybody who paid attention, one of the things we learned is that these guys lie. And they're allowed to lie. Because if you're non-Muslim, you are an infidel. And in Islam, infidels are not human. We are less than human compared to them. And therefore, their laws do not apply to us. And because of that, they can lie and deceive. And so when this guy says, oh, they don't have a nuke because they had a religious fatwa against it, that is the dumbest thing I have ever heard as far as rationalizing this away. That is moronic. And it also tells me, it validates to me that this guy wasn't in the intel meetings, especially the last couple of months, as was reported by the White House. He had been suspected leaking, and so he's been kept out of the loop for the last several months. And the FBI was investigating him, and so, yeah, he resigned. Got ahead of it, huh, buddy? But to tell the world that the reason they didn't have a nuke was because they had a fatwa is retarded. And yet, many people are eating this up. Oh, did you hear what Joe said? They didn't have one. They had a fatwa against it. They can't go against their fatwa. Oh my God. It's just so stupid. And yet people are believing it. In fact, watch Tucker's face. Tucker, who should know better and should be like, oh my God, did you just say that absolutely retarded thing? Because obviously Tucker knows this. Tucker's smart, but he plays a dumb person on TV
And
sometimes.
Nobel Peace Prize?
Look at this.
We regime changed him, and he was
face.
executed by his own people in the most horrific
Oh,
way.
sodomized by a bayonet. Right.
They cannot do fatwas.
Was Iran.
Listen, guys, this is what's going on out there. But again, Kent did this, said all this other kind of stuff. And then he said, he goes on Candace today. He's making his rounds, but they're doubling down. They're doubling down. It's getting crazy. But meanwhile, here's intelligence officials reporting on Joe Kent, under oath, I should say. Kent with Tucker, not under oath. No consequences for lying in front of podcasters or sounding like a retard in front of podcasters. But this guy's under oath. Listen what he has to say.
Is the Iranian regime committed to America's destruction, in your opinion?
Yes.
Does the Iranian regime have American blood on their hands since its founding in 1979?
Yes.
Has Iran plotted assassination attempts against Americans on American soil?
Yes.
Was Iran developing a nuclear weapon prior to our military action last June? And did Iran remain committed to developing a nuclear weapon in the lead up to this conflict?
Yes. So I want to clarify on that because there's been much talk about
That's John Radcliffe.
about a fatwa against the development of a nuclear weapon.
Can you come back to that 1 second? Let me finish
yeah,
these.
you
That's
bet.
okay. If left unchecked, do you think Iran would have the ability to develop missiles capable of reaching the United States?
Yes.
Did Israel force the U.S.'s hand and make us take action, as some have claimed?
No.
Director Gabbard, do you agree with the CIA director's assessment on that last question in
Yes.
particular? Is the Iranian regime committed to America's destruction?
Ratcliffe and Tulsi just flat out blasted him out. Everything, they just confirmed everything he said, Kent said, was a lie. And they did under oath. Interesting. And then you find this kind of stuff. Now, I don't know if you guys know who this guy is. Alexander Dugin. He's been on Tucker before. This guy is a hardcore anti-American, anti-Christian, honestly, Russian propagandist. And he has been on Tucker's show. He's been all over the place, and he's got ties to Tucker, Candace, and Joe. You have this guy seems to be in a lot of people's orbits. It's very strange, and I've just found this out the last couple of days. But so I'm learning more about it, and I'm going to keep following it. But this guy is known to kind of like take Christian ideals and yet destroy them through like a subterfugic way. It's very interesting. I'm studying it a little bit more. I'll report more on him when I can. But he calls out today, Tracker Carlson is extremely convincing. That must have been a typo. Consequent and rational. Joe Kent is consistent, direct, sincere. He's still very loyal to Trump. Really? Sad about his dependence from excessive Israel influence. What a difference from those who attack both of them. These two are normal. I mean, this guy, 450,000 followers, so he's got a lot of influence, and they're playing their puppet games. This guy is clearly intelligence from what I've seen. And again, I'm going to give you guys more of a deep dive on him later as I'm putting stuff together. I've just become really aware of him the last couple of days, but he's clearly some kind of intelligence. And the fact that he's touched all these people and they spout very similar things to what he does in his teachings, it just gets weirder and weirder. And then we got today coming out, there was an FBI investigation officially on Kent, that he leaked details from a classified server to a member of the media and other leaks to Tucker. That's why the interview was ready to go and he quit. FBI released our plans to release details to show investigation predated the resignation. And so here we are. A law enforcement source said FBI agents determined Kent shared secret government information. Second administration official said Kent leaked information from a server to a member of the media. So we have this guy who is supposed to be like this big hero and backstab Trump. Obviously, it's falling apart. But the thing is, I think it's about to go deeper. And I think he is just the beginning of something worse. So this is what we got to be prepared for. Because, again, I've been telling you guys, how many weeks now since Iran started? It's all assets deployed time. They are terrified of what's going on in Iran. City of London is terrified of what's going on in Iran. They are losing their grip on world markets, losing their grip on the oil market, which is the most important market in the world because you control oil, you control energy. They are losing that battle, and it's going very badly for them. And so it's all assets deployed time. It's time for them to go hardcore, take out Trump. And that's why we're seeing all this. The Trump administration, thankfully, based upon what we're seeing here with them having cut out Kent earlier, the FBI investigation means they were at least onto it a little bit, which means they're a little bit ahead of it. And good thing, too, because it looks like more is coming. Brendan Dilley's putting it out here today. I'm here to tell you Joe Kent is not the only one being investigated for leaking, and Tucker's not the only podcast turncoat being looked at for taking foreign money. The more they talk, the worse it gets. So, and then Laura Loomer, who, I don't always like Laura, but she does some good work. And it says, indeed, people mock me when I say this, but people are about to find out. So it's getting saucy. And this is why I mean, this is the point of no return, because if one way or the other, all right, somebody's coming to the point where one side is going to be proven right. We're not that far off from that point. And if these guys all turning on Trump are proven right, if some smoking gun comes out about the Trump administration, it really does come out they were controlled by Israel, or there's some Epstein file that proves some crazy stuff, or we get stuck in Iran and Trump drops 100,000 troops into Iran, all of it starts crumbling for MAGA, and they'll be celebrating. And honestly, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get Trump stuck into something or find out something about him. And that's why they're undercutting him with these leaks and all this. And Tucker obviously had been playing both sides for a while now, which, by the way, it came out today that Trump has now banned Tucker Carlson from the White House. That was trending. Now, I didn't see it from the most reliable sources, but I saw it from a few sources. So I'm like, okay, it's probably true, although I'm waiting for it to be official. But I definitely believe it's true, knowing Trump. But this is heating up. And on the flip side, if Dilly here is right and the Trump side's right, and all of a sudden it gets exposed that Tucker's taking foreign money and others are taking foreign money, and Kent is a leaker, and that's proven, and others are a leaker, because all these people have turned against Trump and have shown their true colors, because of this, there's no turning back. Who's ever going to trust them again? Is anybody ever going to trust Tucker Carlson again after this? That's MAGA, that stayed with Trump. No. Anybody ever going to trust Megyn Kelly again? No. Alex Jones again? No. Steve Bannon? No. Although, well, some will still trust Bannon because he hasn't come full out yet. Although I don't know how anybody does after the Epstein stuff. But my point is they're all parroting, and we all see it. We all see how they're all coordinating all this at the same time. Tucker at this point is acting no differently than Nick Fuentes. Candace Owens has been gone for a while. I mean, it's just getting worse and worse. Rich Baris crashing out. Robert Barnes crashing out. And I'm seeing more and more. There's some smaller influencers. And I know this one's going to hurt some of you guys because of MMTLP stuff, but Ann Vandersteel, she is full on grifting. I've caught her in several lies. It's just like all these people who've been riding the Trump train, riding the MAGA train for their money, their influence, they are popping out of the woodwork like crazy because of Iran. And listen, Tom said it so beautifully yesterday. And one of the reasons it's so important, I want you guys to listen to last night's live if you missed it, is because Tom understands the financial aspect of what Trump's doing in Iran and how it relates to London, city of London, in a way that is just better than how I can explain it. He understands it better than I do. And so that's one of the reasons I had him on. And it's just incredible what we're seeing right now. I've just never seen this before. There's always been rumors and whispers, and there was lots of people that were terrible, but I just never knew it was on this level, because these were people who fell into the alternative sphere. We wanted to trust them more. We wanted to give them more, and some of them played the game really well for a very long time, but it's just becoming more and more obvious. And it's going to get crazier, guys. It's going to get crazier. So I see what you say there, SJD. So trust the government. Listen, in the chat right there, he just proved exactly what I've been talking about at the beginning of the show about the black pillars, because they have lost their hope so much that things can change that they've completely lost any sense that things are different. And as soon as they see the first thing that says, oh, it's not happening the way I want to, they go immediately back to their old suspicions. Meanwhile, Trump's given us 10 years of proving he's different. And so it's but again, sometimes you just can't get the black pill out of people. And that sucks. Bumps Johnson says the only thing Robert Barnes ever did was get Wesley Snipes thrown in prison. Yeah, what, for evading taxes? I thought Robert Barnes was a libertarian. Why would he care about that? That's hilarious. But speaking of Barnes' best friend here, Rich Baris. So here's the new fun thing going around is that Cernovich, who's another grifter, Oh, don't get me started on Cernovich. But we've known about him for a while. He's got all kinds of crazy stuff, which sucks because sometimes he does stuff I really like, but that's how they get you. They'll do stuff that's great. They'll do great content. They'll do something really well. They'll earn trust. This is exactly what undercover cops do, right? They earn the trust and they embed themselves, and then they turn on them at the last minute, which with undercover cops, it's a good thing. But with the grifters, it's completely, it's disgusting because they're actually hurting people and they're actually influencing. In close elections, they can influence elections. They can influence policy choices by putting pressure on presidents. Like these people, now they don't have as much power as they think they do, but they used to when it was just a few networks before we really understood the internet, or the internet was fully catered and censored. And, you had to go dark web places to get actual truth before X. Yeah. They had a lot more power, and they think they still have it. And Cernovich throws this out today. A Tucker Carlson, Joe Kent ticket would steamroll anything Democrats or Republicans could bring. It's laughable when people try to argue this with me. Spend some time offline. Good-looking, physically fit white men are back in. Do you understand how retarded this is? He's right about the last part. Like, it's become cool to be masculine again, and that's great. But yeah, right. I get you, Tesla and Joe. I see that. But what he's completely wrong about is the fact they would have any chance at all. See, elections aren't won by just regular Joe who decides he feels like it. Now, you could do that if you were running for House member or running for your local government or even a state seat. Yeah, you could get away with that. You can get away with being regular Joe, six pack who just one day is like, I'm going to fight for my country. You can get elected like that, but not president. Do you guys understand? Let me ask you guys. Think about that. How many presidents are there that have no military experience and no political experience before they got elected the first time? How many presidents? I'll let you guys answer that for a second while I go over this. So Cernovich puts this out there, and then Rich Baris parrots it, and it's been all over the place. I mean, Megyn Kelly put this out there. They're trying to get this out there. They're actually trying to build this case. Rich Baris, the pollster, the political election genius, says that ticket would decimate the Republican Party. It's hilarious to watch Israel First, currently responsible for the coming midterm disaster, argue with Mike on this. It almost certainly outperforms Ross Perot in 92. Only question is by how much? Yeah. Okay, Rich. What they fail to tell you is that in all of American history, there is one president, who had no military or political experience before he got into office. And that, my friends, is Donald J. Trump, the unicorn, the only one to do it. And that is not a fluke. It's what we needed at the time. But he already has built a machine for the future. We have other people ready to go that are in politics right now. Vance, Rubio, they are ready. And what they're trying to do right now is parade this ridiculous idea. Now, here's the other thing. None of these men, Tucker or Joe Kent, they're saying Tucker is president. Neither of them are rich the way Trump was. And it takes money to become president. Well, the donors hate both of them as well. Tucker especially, hated by the donor class. So where's he going to raise money from? He's got no experience. Trump also was a brand by himself. Successful businessman, had built real estate everywhere, famous, did The Apprentice. Tucker Carlson isn't 10% as famous as Trump was. Not 10% as famous. That's to all of America. When you think of Trump being in tabloids for 20, 30 years, plus The Apprentice, which was the highest rated show on TV for a bit. I mean, it is completely different. And so for this to be parroted by people who say they understand politics is asinine. And I'm telling you, the grift of these people, FAGA, the grift of these people, guys, it's getting worse and worse and worse, and they are falling onto bigger and crazier lies that they can't back up. History doesn't support them. Facts don't support them. Logic doesn't support them. Fatwa is the reason there was no nuclear weapon. Are you freaking kidding me? That's retarded. This idea is retarded. You know, Ross Perot, rich businessman. That's why he was doing well. Tucker could not even get through the primaries. Ron Paul, somebody says, Ron Paul was a politician. He'd been in politics for years. He had a whole movement behind him. And also, he didn't even come close to winning the Republican primary. So Tucker is, it's a joke. It's a joke to think Tucker has a chance at this. So, but they're parroting this around. And it's all just to get right now, this is what they're doing. They know they have no chance of growing, and they're not going to take out Trump. The MAGA coalition is too strong. They're not going to do that. So what they're trying to do is peel off everybody on the edges. They're trying to cut it down by 1 to 5%, just enough to get us crushed in the midterms. And they're hoping that if they go all out right now, they go all out. They're hoping that while they're doing it, Trump makes a major mistake. And in that major mistake, they can all say, I told you so, gain more trust. And that's what they're trying to do. That's why it's all assets deployed right now, as they are terrified about what's going on in Iran. And I'm going to show you guys that in a second here as we go through the Iran stuff, because it's getting crazier and crazier. Downey, Ron Paul didn't even come close, man. I appreciate you. Like, obviously you're a Ron Paul fan, and I respect Ron Paul, Dr. Ron Paul, but he didn't even come close to winning the primaries. So he created a lot of noise. I'll tell you that. He had a big enough support behind him where he made a lot of noise, but he didn't come close to winning the primaries. It wasn't close, but libertarians like to pretend it was because it makes them feel good. Like one time they almost won something, which they would have all screwed up if they'd gotten in power anyways. You know what a libertarian can't handle, and why I just can't respect libertarians? It's not that I don't agree with some of their policy positions. I think they have some really good ones. It's that they don't know how to wield power at all. They don't understand power. They hate it so much that they would self-destruct themselves. And that's just not doable. I mean, you can't do that and survive. Somebody will always take it over. So, but Paul wasn't close. And yeah, I know he dealt with some stuff, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it was completely fair, but here's the deal. It never is. And that's why we needed somebody like Trump to actually win it. Because Trump understood how to play the game. It's just like when the brilliant line in the debate with Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton's like, he doesn't pay all of his taxes, or he paid barely anything in taxes last year. And what does Trump say? That's because I'm smart. He doesn't say, well, you know, there were some loopholes, but I did it legally. He didn't even try to defend himself. He just said, yeah, that's because I'm smart. Trump knows the game and he plays it. He doesn't break the law, but he plays the game. Ron Paul didn't know how to play the game. None of them do. And Trump was the one. And that's why Ron Paul could never win. And that's why Tucker could never win. Tucker doesn't know how to play the game. Tucker doesn't have the standing behind him, and he doesn't have a following either. Tucker has nothing. He is not, there's nobody out there. Like Ron Paul actually had ideas and had really great points and was actually fighting for something and was a man of principle. Tucker doesn't fight for anything. He just talks. So it's not the same thing at all. Anyways, let's move on before we get stuck on that. So we got, this guy has been really good backing up or going after Baris. And he says Baris is just lying now. So here's Rich Baris coming out. he's responding to Tim Pool, says a realignment's happening. And he says, yeah, already happening. MAGA shrinkage went right into independents who say they share little in common with either party. Some will go to emergent anti-war populist left, and God help Republicans if a self-funding pro-like figure emerges. Do you see what they're doing? They're actually trying to get somebody to do this. That's what they want. They want to destroy the Republican Party so the Democrats can go back in control. You know why? Because it's good for business. Because if the Democrats are back in control, Baris, Bannon, all of them can go back to making their money and pretending they're actually fighting something. That's what they're doing. And this is why they're just undercutting Trump at every possibility. But thankfully we have X now, and people can call out others with data. We have receipts now all the time. So he said Baris blatantly lying about his own polls are showing it's getting absurd. Went back and looked at nearly every single publicly released national poll from him since October of 23, and nothing has changed. And you see right here the America First percentages, which is MAGA, and you just see like it's all about the same. Now there's different demographics and stuff here, but then we got Okay, we'll do this first. I have something to show you guys in a minute to also really back that up. But let's just keep going with the grifters, because you just got to see how they all act together. Thomas Massie, the biggest grifter in Congress. And I say that knowing that half of Congress is Democrats. But Democrats aren't grifters in the same way. They just flat out are evil, and they are proud of it. And they are who they say they are. And you get what you want with them. Massie, on the other hand, is complete deep state opposition. He is completely controlled. And this is just more proof of it, because as soon as any of these people turn on Trump, guess what happens? They're embraced by Thomas Massie. And Carrie Prejean is the latest. I've already covered her. She is just a total fraud. But here she is. Like, they just make the rounds with each other. It's a sick little club, and you're not in it. Like, Massie is the worst. He is so awful. He's not principled. It's a total lie. I've completely backed this up 1,000 times. I've shown how, he supported, he's the reason Biden got his budget through, which lifted the debt ceiling for a year and a half. That was on Massie. Tell me again how that's a principled libertarian. Anyways, I've done the Massie stuff forever. He's completely funded by the same people who fund the squad. He gets Iranian money and Israeli money, just not through AIPAC. He's a total fraud. And he's about to lose his seat because of it. And thank God for that, because all this man exists to do is stop the MAGA coalition. That's it. And this is just more proof of it, because all he hangs out with is grifters. And so anyways, I've done so much content on Massie. I'm not going to spend much time on it. If you guys want to know more of what I think about content, this is a Zionist channel. Apparently Downey is like, nobody can have thoughts. No one can challenge a libertarian, or else you're a Zionist. I bet you're a Dave Smith fan too. Downey, go watch Dave Smith. Go get full of his retardation. Believe him. I'm definitely not a Zionist, but I'm also not retarded, which is why I'm not libertarian. Okay. Defamation lawsuits have begun. So Erica Kirk and TPUSA are finally fighting back. Okay. And they, this is what we've been waiting for on this. Okay. Thank God. Because, and what happened is this last weekend, they went too far with the Erica Kirk stuff when they used, that Haley Robeson call and spread online and said it was Erica Kirk working with Epstein. That was proof. And is that Project Constitution and Ian Carroll, they all got caught up in it. So, dude, Downey, you're retarded, dude. Miriam Adelson. Okay. So Elon Musk controls Trump too, even though he was kicked out and Trump took away his energy credits. Yeah. Okay. You guys are so retarded. It's unbelievable. Why are you watching this show? Go watch your own retard shows. Go join Dave Smith and his crew, and go be with these idiots. If you want to actually know the truth about Thomas Massie, go back and watch my other videos where I have the receipts on him getting funded by the hardcore, most liberal people and by Israel. Oh, he's a Zionist. You're a Zionist, bro. Guess, hey, talk to Massey about that because he's funded by them. But you're too dumb to go look because just trust me, bro. Libertarians for life, bro. Yeah. Ron Paul, Thomas Massey. It's always fun being on the loser side, huh? It's real fun being on the loser side. Yeah, well, enjoy it. Libertarians are always losers, will always be losers. They have no idea how to win anything. And if they did, they wouldn't know what to do with it. They would just piss it all away. They'd be like, oh, power. Oh, this kills me. So anyways, I'm not wasting my time with you, dude. This is absolutely ridiculous. The Thomas Massey stuff is so obvious, and anybody who doesn't see it at this point just isn't paying attention. But it's okay. Go hang out with Clint Russell and Dave Smith, and just go to your little pocket and go vote for Chase Daniel or whatever his name was, the tranny loving libertarian presidential candidate you guys chose. Go hang out with him. Go enjoy it. So anyways, Erica and TPUSA sent a cease and desist letter to Colin Scott Campbell, Project Constitution, which he was like, look at them trying to shut down journalism. Have it on my good authority. This is just the first of several they're sending out. Candy O, the occultist, bisexual, psychotic stalker. I love that. And Ian Carroll, aka Pizza Pothead, are next. Digging themselves into a hole. Anyways, this could start something. This really could. We could start seeing if they start going after him for defamation, where it's going to go to discovery. This could bring down some people. I mean, I think Candace is a huge target for that, especially with all the money she's been making on it. It's been easy to disprove, and I think that's why they held out for so long. But that the fact that they came out with that tape and all those people propagated it, Liz Crokin, Project Constitution, Candace Owens, Ian Carroll, I think they really got themselves into some trouble there. So hopefully this keeps spreading. Okay, here is what I wanted to show you guys. This is just wild. It's Harry Hinton. All right, Harry, show us about this collapse in MAGA.
Yeah, sometimes you look at the polling data and there are numbers that just jump off the screen at you, and this is one of those.
So
because just take a look here. MAGA GOP view of Trump. Approve 100%.
Listen, you can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. 100% approval with MAGA for Trump. Now, listen, it's a poll. I don't know how big the poll was, but all of the polls have shown anywhere between 85 and 100% approval within MAGA for Trump. That's not a falling apart coalition. Got it. So, and the other part is this is an NBC News poll. You see it right there on the bottom. NBC News. That is a leftist pollster. They have always made Trump look worse. In the election, they were off by, 3-4 points, having Kamala ahead by like 2 or 3 points. All right. So they always overestimate the Democrats. They weight it towards Democrats. But here's the problem. You can't do that when you say, are you MAGA first? Because that's part of the questionnaire. And so they say yes. Well, then they get real answers. And then it's, do you support President Trump? You can't change the control on that. And it's 100% is what they got approval in MAGA. But watch, it gets better.
100%. If you are a member of MAGA in the GOP, you approve of Donald John Trump. 0% say that they disapprove. You don't have to be a mathematical genius to know you can't go higher than 100%.
So, Harry, what's even better about this, and I thought this clip had it, but it doesn't. This is a shorter clip. But right after he says this, and you guys can find the clip on X, and it's easy to find. Right after he says this, he says, some people say that this is happening because, you know what? I want to play it. Hold on. Let me search it real quick. I want to show you guys the clip because it's so good. MAGA 100. That should bring it up. I want the longer clip. Here we go. All right. This is what I've been looking for. All right, Harry, I'm going to give you another chance. About right here.
Line is this: if you are a member of MAGA, you approve of Donald Trump.
It's interesting, though, because there have been a couple prominent people who have sort of come out online, and they're very mad about this war with Iran because
You don't say. A couple people have come out and been mad. Who?
he promised no new wars. Is there any sign that people might be leaving MAGA relative to 2024?
Oh, okay. Set it up. Is there any sign that people have been leaving MAGA since 2024? Because that's what Rich Baris says. That's how Rich Baris keeps explaining how the polls stay high in MAGA. It's because MAGA is smaller, so the people who stay just are hardcore. That's how Rich Baris tells us MAGA is still dying, that he is right and we are all wrong, that Tucker Carlson is right and we are so dumb. That's what Rich Baris says. That's what Robert Barnes says. Well, let's see. Remember, NBC News poll. This is not a fan of MAGA poll.
Yeah, okay. So, I've said it before, and, the theme of this segment is Tucker Carlson be darned. And when we look at the numbers, I've heard some people say, when you look at those MAGA numbers, it doesn't account for those who might have left MAGA. But take a look.
Did you hear what he just said? He just basically called out. He just called out MAGA.
Look here.
He just called out Baris.
Americans who identify as MAGA in November of 2024, it was 28% of Americans. Now it's basically the same. If anything, it's slightly higher at 30%. The bottom line is this: the MAGA base within the GOP is not shrinking. It's the same size. If anything, it is slightly larger than it was back in 2024 when, of course, Donald Trump won a second term. So that 100% that Donald Trump has approval among MAGA GOP, that is not an artifact of MAGA shrinking. It's just an indication of how strong Donald Trump's grip is.
Thank you. Thank you, Harry. That was a good... You're a great New York Jew, Harry. Thank you so much. You did great for us, buddy. That's unbelievable. MAGA is growing. So I know what some people are probably thinking. Well, how are we down in the midterms? It's just independents and libertarians. See, the libertards, they hate that Trump hasn't just blown up the entire government already. Despite the fact he's fulfilled his promises to them, despite the fact he pardoned their guy that he promised he would, Ross, whatever his name is, he pardoned him. Despite the fact he passed a crypto bill that he promised the libertarians, he's fulfilled all these promises to libertarians. And the federal government is now the smallest it's been since 1960. And yet he's done all this, all the promises that he made to them, he's fulfilled. And yet they're all bailing on him because, he's doing exactly what else he said he'd do. This is why you can't ever trust libertarians. They're pathetic. And the other people he's losing are the independents, who, quite frankly, most independents are left-leaning. And Trump, he's the most conservative president we've had in a long time. I say that as a lifelong conservative. He actually gets it done. And they don't like that. And then there's that whole idea that we just can't be tough, that we just should have, that no new wars meant never do anything with the military. There's that whole idea too. And the fact that Congress doesn't get anything done, which is discouraging a lot of people. That's why we're trending down for the midterms, but it's not MAGA. His base is the strongest ever. Yeah. Drill, baby, drill. We're producing oil. We're a net exporter. So again, this is NBC News. Okay. This is NBC News poll. So it's obviously not going to slant towards Trump. If anything, it'll go the other way. So and then there's this. All these guys freaking out. They pulled this too. 1,000 likely voters. Among Republicans, do you agree with Trump or Carlson Kelly on foreign policy? 84% Trump. It just doesn't get stronger than that, guys. It doesn't get stronger than that. And so everybody who's like, oh man, this is not real. You're living in a bubble and you're just circle jerking with your friends about all this talk. It's like you're not living in reality. The people are speaking. Most people are happy with the way the country's going. They are. And you're living in a bubble. I mean, it's just the way it is. Now, you might live in a blue state, and so the liberals around you just overwhelm you. Okay, I can forgive that. Or you might live in a super like libertarian area. Okay, so yeah, that's what you're hearing. But most of America sees what's happening and is okay with it. And it's moving forward. And again, right here, among Republicans, are you more or less likely to support a candidate who backs Trump's military action in Iran? Almost 80%. So, you know, and listen, one poll is one poll, but it's the trend is there. And that's the point. That's why I show you guys all the different polls, because they all say the same thing. They do. It's just, it's always high on Trump's keeping his base. And that's what you do when you're president. You do. You have to. It's the only way you can keep winning and moving forward. So again, just more and more proof, guys, that these people are not real life. Tucker, Kelly, Fuentes, they're not real life. Dave Smith, they don't have any pulse on the American people at all. They live in their ivory towers now. They've been so disconnected from regular people for so long. All they do is talk to each other. They run the podcast circuit. And yeah, several of them are controlled. Absolutely. 100%. That's the only way it makes sense, that they all do this all at the same time. So, all right, I'm going to get into the next section in just a second here, but before I do, let's get into the chat. By the way, guys, if you're enjoying the show, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Thank you for supporting the channel. And, share it out there. Share last night's episode with Tom Luongo. It was awesome. So let's get it out there. But okay, let's see what's in the chat here. Man, you guys have been blowing it up, but it looks like you're mostly talking to each other. So that's all right. Media Junkie says, the most informed show on YouTube. Keep the hypes coming. Thank you, brother. I greatly appreciate that. You're right about libertarians are not viable. Absolutely not. Yeah, we don't have to worry about them. And, you know, what the libertarians don't want to tell you is they peaked with Ron Paul, where they were almost like 10% of the country, and now they're under 5%. People have woken up on the libertarians. You can't be a party that's just always against everything. You have to be for something for people to follow you. And libertarians just can never figure that out. And that's with me saying that I agree with, I don't know, 80 to 90% of their beliefs, but they're terrible as a party. They're just terrible. Let's see here. We'll get into some of that stuff later, guys. You're jumping ahead. All right. Most of you guys just talking to each other. Love Harry's enthusiasm. Harry is something else. He really is. Johnny Strayhorn, what's going on, buddy? Massey, funded by Democratic Socialists of America, and Sam Maruk, iPad guy. Yep, exactly, Kev. You nailed it, brother. You nailed it 100%. All right, well, this is one of the first times I've seen so much chatter just among you guys and not hitting it up. So if you guys are new watching the show, I appreciate you checking it out. Again, like, subscribe. Thank you for that support. And then again, if you hit up the chat and you got a question or comment for me, I will always try to get back into the chat and answer or respond, but sometimes I don't see it. So sometimes you have to, push it a little bit. So I don't mind a couple spams here and there, but just don't overwhelm it. What only seems that way? What did I miss? I don't know what you're talking about. It only seems that way you're talking to each other. All right. Well, it looks like you guys keep going. Roger says, MAGA come lately folks don't seem to be as committed, in my honest opinion. Well, here's the difference. So we are 65, 70% of the Republican Party now. We own the Republican Party. It's ours. Okay. There's just everybody else just along for the ride. We control the Republican Party, and we will for at least a generation. That's how these movements went with that many people. Thank you, Trish. I appreciate you. But the, where was I going with that? Oh, but so there's a lot of people who would say they're MAGA but the real MAGA has been here from the beginning. It's like you came on to Trump or you went all in. Maybe it was when he got shot. Maybe it was when he, closed the border and it woke you up, or I don't know what it is, but the way you're real MAGA is like, it's like your eyes open. It's not just that you support Trump because you hate Democrats. That's not MAGA. And a lot of people they thought like, you go to a Trump rally and you're MAGA. Not necessarily. Some people were just like, oh, well, we might finally have a Republican who does some good stuff, or man, Democrats have gone crazy. I'm going to give this guy a chance. Sure. MAGA. So yeah, those people are not going to stick around because they're not voting for something as much as against something. But the people who actually see what's happening and actually are paying attention and actually realize, like, one of the things that is so important about Trump that is much more than just the policies is that Trump is bringing American culture back. And MAGA gets that. MAGA understands that Trump is more than his policies, that he is more than getting the border closed and keeping us out of like forever wars and, getting tax cuts, whatever it is, we vote for him to do. There's a bunch of other stuff too. Reform, weeding out corruption, whatever it is. He's more than all that. He's also, it's cool to be masculine again. Oh, we can say retard again and faggot and gay and like be like and be fun about it. Like, we don't have to be walking on eggshells with our language anymore. We can have a good time. It's okay to call out nonsense again. It's okay to police, your culture again. Trump has affirmed all of that. He's made Christianity cool again. That matters more because when culture changes, politics is downstream of culture. So when culture changes, the politics will eventually catch up. Trump's done that. He's made hard work cool again. He's the hardest working president we've had. I mean, the dude sleeps 4 hours a night. 4 hours a night. It's insane. He's always going. And even Democrats admit that. Like, that is, so that stuff just matters. And MAGA gets that. So that's why MAGA loves him. That's why I love this man. And that's why there's almost nothing except unless something like horrific came out. Like, it would have to be like evidence he actually was a pedophile, or like what the Democrats want us to believe, or I don't even know right now. I'd know it when I see it. Let me put it that way. But it would have to be so major because Trump has done more for me and my kids, my future, my kids' future, than anybody else in this country that's still living today. He has. And that's just a fact. And I can, I'm 42 years old. I've been following this stuff for 25 years. And beyond that, I'm a history buff. So I've gone back in time. I understand what we're seeing right now is we are living under a great moment in time with a great man of history. And I don't mean great, like perfect. And some of you, he's not great. No, he is. And I don't mean great in the sense that you have to love him, but great in the sense that he impacts things more than anybody else we've seen in a very long time. And we're living through history. I appreciate that. And I appreciate that our country was going so far downhill and nobody was fighting for it. People were complaining a lot about it, but there was no one really fighting for it. And he did. And I'm a conservative and I'm a Christian, and he has progressed my country more to my values than any other president in my lifetime. And then you go beyond that and I see all the other stuff that he's doing and trying to do. And when you understand the City of London stuff, that's a whole nother level. The deep state stuff, it's a whole nother level. And when you understand all that, yeah, MAGA loves this man. and MAGA's not going anywhere. And the podcaster influencers, they are so arrogant. They thought we'd all follow them because, I get 3 million views. Well, Trump has 300 million. So it's just, it's just crazy like that. So we vote for him. We are for Trump. And yeah, we vote against the other side by voting for him, but we're actually, we were MAGA were the people excited to go vote for Trump, not just vote against the Democrats. But the libertarians, they voted against the Democrats. Other Republicans, they voted against the Democrats, and that's the difference. That's the difference. So Trump is MAGA. He is, and there's just no separation, and everybody's learning that the hard way. He's going to be a great man of history, and it's just going to be even better when we look back. Bumps Johnson says, I always thought Trump was a joke. He impressed me with his response to Ted Cruz joking about New York values. That was so good. Pat M, Trump's Jerry Nurson's personal life. Oh man, the stories that come out about Trump are wild, and in a good way. Stephen Webb says, I never voted till 24. Honestly thought Trump had to be a CIA plant because I thought Luciferians would never allow someone to upend their agenda. Then they shot him. Yeah, exactly right, man. Exactly right. Let's see here. Trish says, I agree. Democrats 2PC almost took us off the cultural cliff. 100%. Seth says, because of what Trump did, allowed me to start businesses in aftermarket performance spaces. Again, amen, brother. I mean, yeah, he's deregulated like crazy. Vincent, you met him in the last 90s? That's awesome. And he was still a good person. I love that. Stephen Webb, you don't need to worry about that stuff. You should listen to my Bible teaching. That's not even close to happening. Ray Sandoval with the $5 donation. Thank you so much, Ray. He says, I'm in a blue state, Oregon, but there's Portland and then there's everybody else. Trump supporters all over Oregon and waking up every day. Amen, man. I mean, rural Oregon is very conservative. I grew up in California, hence the hat. I live in North Carolina now, but grew up in California, spent most of my life there. And California, I tell people this all the time. It's more red than blue. It is. It's just completely overrun, and the elections are controlled by Sacramento, LA, and San Francisco. That's where all the money is. But California is a red state. It is. It's the fraud there is beyond anything you could believe. And when I lived in California for, almost 30 years, the only places you really met many liberals was San Francisco area, Silicon Valley, the LA area, and Sacramento. Even though Sacramento is pretty conservative for the most part, but that's where the politicians are. So it's California is sad, but one day California is going to be saved, and it's going to change this country. It's going to be incredible. So I covered oh no, I'm going to get there. Don't worry. Pearl Harbor's coming up. But thank you, Ray, for the super chat. That's awesome. Appreciate you. Okay, let's get into Iran. Oh wow, already running late on this show. We're gonna have to move a little faster. All right, Trump posted this yesterday, but I did want to cover it because just one of the stupid, the nonstop stupid Israel tard nonsense. Remember, guys, repeat after me. We don't go full Israel is evil. We don't go full Israel is perfect. We're in the middle. Israel has lots of issues. Israel has been controlled by the deep state. But City of London, Israel's done horrific things, but Israel's also not the devil. Israel doesn't control the world. Israel is not an evil empire. None of that's true. Most of the people in Israel are good. Like, we are in the middle. The truth about Israel is right in the middle. Okay, that's where we are with Israel. And they don't control Trump. You're a retard if you think that. And I will say that again, you're a retard if you think that. They don't control Trump. Trump is trying to give them sovereignty, freedom from City of London, which controls it's MI6 controls Mossad. City of London created Israel all the way back in 1948. Go read your history. A country that's been around for 80 years and is smaller than the size of New Jersey cannot control the world. That doesn't make any sense. So anyways, that's how we that's how we understand Israel. Okay. And that's the truth. By the way, I'm having another guest next week. His name is Jonathan Welton. He's been on once before. He's a great theologian. And I think his stuff is some of the best stuff I've ever read. And he's going to be on next week to talk about Israel and what the Bible actually says about Israel. So I'm very excited to have him on. So Donald J. Trump writes yesterday, Israel, out of anger for what's taken place in the Middle East, violently lashed out at a major facility known as South Pars gas field in Iran. A relatively small section of the hull has been hit. U.S. knew nothing about this attack. Country of Qatar was in no way, shape, or form involved. Fortunately, Iran did not know this. No more attacks will be made by Israel pertaining to this extremely important and valuable field unless Iran unwisely just comes back. So anyways, he calls out Israel. And he was pissed about it. The story is that he was pissed, called up Netanyahu, chewed him out. This is a pattern with Trump. That was not a pattern with other presidents. Trump has regularly called out Netanyahu while also at the same time working closely with Israel. See, Trump is a great deal maker, and Israel is our best ally in the Middle East when it comes to peace and stability. Whether we like it or not, and whether it's always been right or not, that's just a fact. I'm not saying it's always been right. Okay, you guys, I'm already on record like this. But when it comes to Israel, you have to repeat yourself a million times, because if you say one thing that is like, oh, Israel's not that terrible, people are like, Zionist, Israel tard, you get your stars. These people are so stupid. They cannot understand nuance, which is what all politics is, what all foreign policy is. They can't understand it. Their brains don't work that way. They just doom scroll all night when they're not watching this stuff. So, but Trump has called out Netanyahu, crossed him more than anybody else. When it came to last year, when we bombed Iran, we bombed, got out, and then we told Israel to stop fighting Iran, and Bibi stopped. We got Israel out of Gaza when Bibi wanted to destroy Gaza, raze it to the ground and take it back over. Trump stopped that. So anybody who thinks Trump's controlled by Israel is a retard. I will say it until I'm blue in the face. Retarded. That's why Dave Smith is a retard. These people are so stupid. So Trump, not controlled by Israel, proves it again. And when we have Netanyahu coming out, Netanyahu is not my favorite. This is where you go with and this is where I get in trouble with the Christians, which I'm a Christian, but there are Christians who believe that Israel can do no wrong. That is also retarded. The problem is that I give them a little more pass because they were taught bad theology since they were kids, and they have less reason to, they have more, I give them a longer leash. I'll just put it that way. Because religion gets complicated, and when you're taught one thing wrong, it gets stuck with you for a long time. But so Bibi comes out today and says this.
His opening remarks with one other fake news, and that is that Israel somehow dragged the U.S. into a conflict with Iran. Does anyone really think that someone can tell President Trump what to do? Come on. President Trump always makes his decisions on what he thinks is good for America. And may I add, I think what is also good for future generations.
Okay, so you know what? I don't like Bibi. I'm going to give him credit for that one because that was funny. And anybody who has a brain knows Trump doesn't listen to anybody. Well, he listens. That's not true, actually. He is a great listener. He doesn't let anybody make decisions for him. That's a fact. And we have 45 years of history of Trump proving this. Okay. So I'll just leave it at that. But Bibi, listen, do you guys remember last year when Israel was attacking Iran and Iran was attacking back, and Trump was so mad about it, and he was trying to stop it, and they wouldn't stop, and they both broke the ceasefire, and Trump's on the lawn, and he says, neither of them know what the F they're doing, and he dropped the F-bomb? Yeah. Does that sound like a man controlled by Israel? It's just so sorry. So stupid. It's so stupid. There's no evidence to it, whatever. Okay, so that's going on. I always got to show that stuff to just set the we're in Iran for real reasons that are good for us, okay? And not everybody understands it, not everybody realizes it, because again, people just don't pay attention. They don't pay attention, they're not willing to do the work, and they let influencers do their thinking for them. This what's going on in Iran is incredibly important for our future, our economy, and the economy of the world, quite frankly. What Trump's doing in Israel is he's ending the EU's power. He's ending City of London's control, financial control. This is the last big pull by City of London. Once they lose this, they're going to really struggle financially. And he's also he's weakening China. So this has so much more to do with all of that, and then the nuke part, which, you know what? I mean, I trust the administration on that stuff, but I will say that I also don't care. I don't care if we just use the nuke excuse to go in there, because there are real reasons to go in there. And for everybody who's like, oh my God, the Iranians, they don't deserve this attack. Dude, they just killed 40,000 of their own people. Okay? So just like Tom and I were talking last night, I don't give a rip if we're taking out Iran's leadership and their military. I'm sorry. These people chose evil, and they've also, since 1979, killed nearly 1,000 Americans. As far as I'm concerned, they've been at war with us for a long time. All right, but here's Victor Davis Hanson, who does a wonderful job explaining this.
There's enough
explaining where we're at.
evidence to see how things are really going. Europeans would never agree to go anywhere near Iran unless they thought the tide was turning and they think that we're going to win. Otherwise, they would keep still. And the reason that the petro-nations of the Gulf survive is they have their finger in the wind, and they're very attuned to the climate. And when you have Al Jazeera praising the United States bombing campaign and saying that it's been underestimated and it's brilliant and effective, you get the feeling that they think not only should the United States finish the job, but it can and will finish the job. And then when you start to see tactical aircraft like Warthogs and Apaches, that means that they're offering almost ground and sea support to hit targets. There's no defense at all when you have that type of aircraft flying at will in Iranian airspace.
First of all, Victor Davis Hanson's absolutely right. Guy's a genius. I love his stuff. Secondly, how freaking funny is it that on Hannity's show it still says set your DVR? Does that tell you who their audience is or what? I'm sorry. I was trying to pay attention. I saw that. I'm just like, oh my God. Okay, boomer. That's just funny. In the era of cord cutting, that's hilarious. Okay, I'm sorry. I can't help myself. All right, let's keep going. Trump today said this, and I know this man is holding on to something, and let me put it this way. I have a feeling Trump's much more in control of the situation. And one of the great narratives being painted right now, which is, again, just another psyop in my opinion, is that the Trump administration didn't prepare for this. Okay. That they went in not knowing what was going to happen with Strait of Hormuz and all this. And they just basically went in because Trump felt it in his gut one day, which is so dumb. But this is actually going around. Okay, so you have the Israel tards on one side who say we're just over there for Israel because Bibi controls Trump. That's the Israel tards. And then you have the other people who are saying this nonsense, that Trump is just, reckless and just jumped in there. But Trump has acted in control this entire time. And he says, again, something right now that I found very interesting.
Volatile world, and the military equipment, the power of some of this weaponry is unthinkable. You don't even want to know about it. Oh, you could end this thing in 2 seconds if you wanted to, but we are being very judicious. But we want to do. Don't forget, Biden gave away. I rebuilt.
Do you hear what he said? We have stuff so crazy, and he's talked about this for ages. Okay, ages, and he said this the other day about how, like, I could send them back 25 years in an hour. And he's not talking about nukes. He's not. Trump would never nuke another country. He actually cares about civilians too much. But he just said it. They're being judicious. And so whatever technology we have, Venezuela was a glimpse of it, where the guy said, like, everything went dark and we couldn't even shoot our guns. Like, that is insane. We're finding out, as I've said the last few weeks, is that these big bads, China, Russia, Iran, they're nowhere close to us. And one of the great lies was being told they were. And Trump, again, is just alluding to the fact, like, guys, we've shown you some stuff, and we have stuff, we have more. We don't want to use it. We want you guys to rise up, take back your country, and we don't want to set you back even more. But if the Iranian people don't step up, like, we might at some point do that. And Trump doesn't want to take out he doesn't want to take out their lives, but he might have to take out more infrastructure, and because this is what I ultimately believe is happening with Iran, is that Trump he's going to make sure they can never militarily be a threat again in the region or to us. And in the region, which means he disrupts them so much, they can no longer fund the terrorists, and they have nothing left there for Hamas, Hezbollah, whatever they're doing. The nuke stuff is just completely gone. They don't have uranium. They don't have, like, that's all part of it. And then obviously the other part is making sure that all ties and control of City of London are gone, which is why he took over the insurance for the Strait of Hormuz, for the tankers, which is why we're moving into that area more. And Trump's just flexing left and right on this. I mean, watch. Here's Besant talking about Karg.
And to be clear, he has focused on Karg Island since 1988, before the Shah fell, that the U.S. should be focused on that. He is laser focused on it. As I said, there was a bombing campaign last week. The military assets on Karg Island were destroyed. And the other thing I can tell you, if you're an oil worker, you don't want to work there. So all the oil workers there are being coerced to stay there. And, we will see what happens with whether that eventually becomes a U.S. asset.
You hear that? Whether Karg ultimately becomes a U.S. asset? That's wild. That's the heart of their oil industry. This is a great post today. War with Iran was near universally predicted to usher in World War III. 10,000 U.S. casualties in first months, Houthis blocking Suez, Iran blocking Straits, Hezbollah and Hamas tying down Israel on two fronts, China and Russia gobbling territories. None of that has happened. Again, how much have we been lied to, guys? How much of our narratives we've been fed our whole life are just absolute nonsense? And where did we hear those narratives? Well, we heard it in school. We heard it from the newscasters. We heard it from the podcasters. We've heard from whoever was famous politically, except for somebody like Rush. Rush was one of the only ones who told the truth, which is why he always had to stay completely independent. You ever notice that about Rush? Like, not only was he the most popular and the biggest show, but he was also fully independent. EIB network, all his. There's a reason for that. Rush couldn't be bought. all these other guys propped up by networks, Hannity, Fox News. You mean go down the list, not Rush. That's why he could speak the truth. And we never had to worry about him. But look at all these other people now. They're all, they all started in mainstream media. This is why, like, some of the people, I've noticed that haven't turned on Trump, like Steven Crowder. That guy is fully independent. Started, and I, I'm at the point where I'm kind of waiting to see if he'll turn too, just like so many others have. But Crowder's calling this crap out. So I'm like, okay, Crowder might be one of the good ones. We have somebody like Glenn Beck, who I don't agree with Glenn Beck on everything. He is a Zionist. I'm not. But Beck was an independent guy, got fired from Fox News for being too independent, started his own thing immediately. And Beck seems to understand what's going on better than all the other people out there. It's very interesting. But these people, all they ever tell us is lies. All these people who are institutionalized, who were raised up by others, all lies. It's just like everything they tell us, all their warnings, all their fear mongering, always lies, which is, again, I go back to what's the number one rule? The number one rule of how you notice a grifter, a con man, somebody in the political sphere. It's that they're sowing hopelessness. They're sowing discouragement. They're blackpilling. Because there's no reason to blackpill when you actually understand how all this works. You always have hope. You cannot, real influence doesn't exist without hope. And they're trying to win us over with fear. Well, fear can have temporary influence, but it doesn't last because nobody's inspired. Inspiration always lasts more than fear. Inspiration can only come through hope. And that's why Trump is such a good leader. The man's always being hopeful, always talking about vision, always casting vision. And these guys just don't have that. Oh, Alex Jones is big bad. He's gone off the deep end. And Alex Jones is independent. But here's the thing with Alex. I think, I don't know exactly with Alex. He's either been a double agent for a long time or Alex has gotten to the point where he was scared of losing his empire. And so he's playing to the crowd, thinking he's riding the waves, keeping that fear mongering going so he can keep getting his checks. Because he almost lost InfoWars and he almost lost being rich and famous. And so I think Alex might be grifting in a different way. But so I could see Alex not being controlled, but he also might just be selfish. I don't know. But he's completely lost his mind. I will say that. He's completely lost his mind. Trump just seems to know how to make this stuff work, guys. Last night we were talking about how all these countries were refusing to come along. Well, then Trump basically stepped on their throats and was like, fine, we don't need the Strait of Hormuz. We're good. We can just be fully independent. We have the oil. You guys don't. You guys take care of it. What happened? They all jumped in the next day. Germany, UK, France, Italy, Netherlands, and Japan. Guys, this tells me that Trump is winning behind the scenes too. He's getting capitulation because they know they'll completely fall apart. So he's making, especially in the case of Germany and UK, which both those are completely, and France, those countries are completely gone. Italy is in its own MAGA moment with Giorgia Meloni. They're trying to get free. Japan as well with their new PM. So, but you have these other ones. But this is them saying, like, we have a choice right here. We can either kind of lose or we can completely lose. And if they lost their energy, they know their people would revolt against them. So what do they have to do? They have to join in. And Trump just forced their hands and humiliated them at the same time. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing to see. And people are worried that Trump's not winning. It's unbelievable. Like, his stuff, it just works. It just works. Now, oil. This is one thing that's, I'm going to show you just again how masterful Trump's being in all this. So oil prices for us are in the 90s. All right. But look where they are across the world. 170 a barrel. And this is Brent global oil to U.S., it's way cheaper for us. And Trump right now is flexing that muscle. He's showing the world we don't need you guys anymore. We don't. So you're going to play by our rules, or we'll let you guys pay $250 a barrel while we're chilling at 75, 80. Go for it. You really want to see how much stronger our economy can get? You really want to see how much more powerful I can get? I'm giving you two options. Either you force me to do that and we'll just become more insulated. We'll be fine. We'll thrive. Or you guys can come along and we're going to set free the Strait of Hormuz. We're going to create, we're going to actually make it more global. We're going to get away from Iran. We're going to make sure China's no longer getting wholesale prices and all this oil hits the markets and we'll all get cheaper oil. We'll see oil go down to the 40s or the 30s. Watch me. And that's what Trump wants to do. He wants it all to flow freely. And it'll bring wealth to all the countries too. It'll bring wealth to the Iranian people. He's already done it in Venezuela. He's going to do this in Iran. And if they don't let him, we'll insulate. And he's just proving that he holds the cards, just like he told Zelensky. You don't have any of the cards. You have no cards, Vladimir. You know, I do a terrible Trump. As this post right here, U.S. is energy independent, can do whatever it wants. Europe sacrifices economy, relevance, foremost geopolitical security at the altar of green religion. It will get really nasty now. You did it to yourself. Look at this. USA now produces more oil than Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. Screw you guys. We are so awesome. And this is because of President Trump. But not just that, we produce as much natural gas as Russia, Iran, and China combined. We are the global leader in energy, and it's not close. It's not even close. And so we are, I mean, as Seth just wrote, City of London controlled oil pricing. They did. They don't know more. Trump is ending that. He's already ended it. They have no control right now. Trump just took over Iran. He's, or the Strait. There's a lot of people theorizing that Trump's actually the one who closed it. He's waiting to see what all these guys do. But I can guarantee you that control's not going back to UK. It's not going back to EU. This is unbelievable what Trump's done, guys. And this, for all the people out there who are like, oh man, Trump's not doing anything. Are you kidding me? This alone would be one of the greatest accomplishments of any president in our history. This alone would put him in the history books. And yet, Trump hasn't done anything. Man, we have a lot of stupid people out there, folks. A lot of stupid people. And it makes me sad. It makes me a little angry too, honestly, because it's one thing to not know any better the first term. We should know better by now. We should know better. Let's keep going. Japan today made a deal with us. Japan, which relies on Middle Eastern crude oil for 90% of its supply, proposes to the U.S. side to import Alaskan crude oil to reduce risk. So now Japan wants to buy oil from us, and we're going to give it to them from Alaska.
アラスカ州産の原油の増産に向け、日本が協力し
Well, it takes 20 to 25 days from the Middle East. Crude oil from Alaska arrives in Japan in just 12 days. Japan's somebody we want as our ally. And if we're making this deal with Japan, we're getting something else from them. You know it. You know this, man. All right. Trump today on troops in Iran.
Potentially put U.S. troops or more troops in the region.
No, I'm not putting troops anywhere. If I were, I certainly wouldn't tell you. But I'm not putting troops, and we will do whatever is necessary to keep the price as low. I actually thought when I did this, look, the Dow just hit 50,000 a couple of weeks ago. They said that couldn't happen for 4 years. It wouldn't happen in my term. It's such an outrageous thing because I said it would happen. I didn't know it was going to happen that fast. But
why, you guys ever ask yourself why does Trump say the Dow hit 50,000 over and over again? Some people are like, oh, he's just bragging about that. All he cares about is the markets. No, that's not why he says it. He says it because when he came into office, everybody predicted the economy would crash. And then he did the tariffs. and everybody predicted the economy would crash. And when every time he says the Dow hit 50,000 my first year, he's saying, F you guys, I know more than you. That's what he's saying. That's the real reason he says it. He's reminding everybody that he always knows more because everybody else around him that's on television, and I don't mean his cabinet, I don't mean the people working with him, I mean all the media stars, all the influencers, everything, they're all liars. And so that's why he says it. And so why does he say that in the same sentence he just said, I'm not going to drop troops into Iran. I'm not going to invade Iran. He says it because he's saying, I know my word is good and what I say will happen. That's what he's doing. He's backing it up. He's backing up his word. That's why he says it, just in case anybody ever wonders about that, because it is kind of weird, right? Okay. The Japanese PM is awesome. And today she called out Trump, said, I believe it's only you who can achieve peace across the world. That's about as firm an endorsement as you get. See, the leaders joining the Board of Peace, the people that are actually working with Trump against City of London, against the EU. You notice it's never the EU who says this stuff. But all these smaller countries, although Japan economically isn't small, but all these other countries that have just not been as big players on the global stage, they all see it and they love him. And there's a reason for that, because he's actually resetting the world. And then Trump today said like one of the greatest things he's ever said. You guys, I don't know if you guys saw this, but some of you were waiting for it. I heard you earlier. This is Trump. This is why we love him.
Let me pick a beautiful person from Japan. A question for the Prime Minister. Go ahead. Yeah, sure. Oh, he doesn't believe he's beautiful. Oh, he's sounding shy. Go ahead, please.
Of course, no. Japan and US are very good friends. But one question: why didn't you tell US allies in Europe and Asia, like Japan, about the war before attacking Iran? So we are very confused about Japanese citizens.
Well, one thing, you don't want to signal too much. You know, when we go in, we went in very hard, and we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay, why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay, right? You know, he's asking me.
Unbelievable. And that, my friends, is why we love President Trump. If you didn't understand. All right, I got a couple last things I want to go through in a minute here, guys. But first, please take a second, if you don't mind, hit like, subscribe. Love you guys. Appreciate you. That's the best way to support the channel for free. And then if you want more, if you want to become a part of the community, the Discord, all that, just you go into the description, click that link to Patreon, get a free month to my membership, and to test it out. No obligation. Test it out. If you want to leave, no big deal. We'll bless you on the way out. But if you want to stay, it's only $5 a month after that. And you help support the channel and the work I do here. So thank you guys for your attention to this matter. But do please like and subscribe or hype if you don't mind. Let me get into the chat for a second before we move on. And then got a couple small things left before the end of the show. CA Human with the $20 super chat tonight. She says, do you have time to address the statehood comment by Trump on Truth? Statehood comment by Trump on Truth. I don't know if I've seen it, CA Human. Let me look. I might have missed that. Was it since I started the show or right before? Let me pull it up real quick. Statehood comment. I don't think I see it. Can you, if anybody knows what she's talking about or statehood comment, if you guys want to spell it out to me a little bit, I would love to respond. I don't know which comment you're talking about. I must have missed it. I'm sorry. Let's see here. He's deflating the bubbles in the market instead of having them pop. Seth, you're actually right about that. And it goes against my theory that, you know, Trump was going to allow the markets to have a major correction or a crash, but he might actually just be letting it out a little bit at a time and then when it's the right moment, fix it behind the scenes. So we'll see what happens there. But it is really interesting what's going on there. Yeah, the isn't that the Pearl Harbor comment is priceless. Everybody says it's so good. Trish says the Japanese extremely disciplined for the PM of Japan to revere President Trump is profound and complimentary. 100%. Statehood about Cuba. Well, okay, so I know the comment about him saying we'll take Cuba. I did hear him say that. I didn't hear him say it'd be a state. So, but is that what you're asking about? If it is, I don't think Cuba would be a state. I think if Cuba, depending on the deal we make, as the Cuban government's falling, I think there's a high chance Cuba becomes a territory. I do. I would say it's a much higher chance than most would think. And if it becomes a territory, then we may allow it to be a territory for while its infrastructure is rebuilt, while it gets itself together, and then maybe in 20 years it becomes a state. But it's not easy to become a state. You have to have Congress vote you in. It takes time, and so I just don't see that happening. But we'll see. We'll see. Will Venezuela be? I think Venezuela is likely not to become a state. Not the way we're seeing it. Also, it's much harder to protect, being that it's all the way down South America. So that Trump wants to. It's the Donroe doctrine, policing the Western Hemisphere, making sure our enemies aren't in the Western Hemisphere. That's one thing. It's another thing entirely to start gobbling them all up like countries to become states. Cuba makes sense because it's right off the coast of Florida. It's right there. Venezuela, not so much. It's just, it's completely in a different, it's not hemisphere, is it? Or is it hemisphere? No, it's north, south, east, west. I get my geography terms mixed up, but it is below the equator. So it's just different. It's just different. Would Alberta become a state? Alberta has a chance. I could see Albertans, because they're already pretty, America and Canada, despite our politics, aren't that much different, much else. Like when you come to, obviously the culture is different, but infrastructure and stuff, Canada is a modern nation, so it wouldn't be as hard for Alberta to become a state. It could go faster. Hey, man, I'd be fine with Alberta and Cuba becoming states. They'd both be super conservative. So that'd be awesome. When is the world going to understand that communism doesn't work? It already does understand that. It's just the communists don't understand it, because what they understand is that it does work. It doesn't work for the people. It works for putting them in power. And so they will never give that up. They'll just never give that up. All right. Let's get through these last couple of things here. So we had intelligence hearing this week, and just wanted to share a couple things. Kash Patel announced today 490% surge in arrests of online child predators, location of 6,200 missing children, and arrest of 300 human traffickers in the last year. And then 112% surge in violent offender arrests. Negative 20% plummet in homicides and robberies. I just want to say, like, our FBI is actually doing its job again. And for everybody caught up on Epstein, I get it. I want to see justice there too. But let me just say this, that this is actually more important than the Epstein people getting busted. It's more important. It's not as fun. It's not salacious, but 6,200 missing kids found. That's more important than Epstein guys who are probably just hiding out, not hurting anybody at the moment. And 300 human traffickers caught. I'm actually very proud of what the FBI is doing right now. And then Tulsi Gabbard today said that her office has seized voting machines from Puerto Rico. So that's Georgia, Arizona, Puerto Rico, Venezuela. We are getting a lot of election stuff. And so you better believe they're building a case. Something very interesting should be coming out of this pretty soon, in my opinion. I wanted to share this, but I don't have time to go into it tonight. But just a reminder of what we were saved from, guys, in case you forgot and think that Trump's not doing anything. Well, this was the Biden CIA, and this was a released document that Biden administration identified motherhood and homemaking as indicators of white, racially and ethnically motivated violent extremism. So it's basically calling white women who are mothers extremists. This is what was coming for us if Kamala became president, guys. So if you don't think the election mattered, that's absolutely stupid. It mattered, and we were saved from this. Now, all right, this is crazy. So I want to share this. Don't know what I think about it yet, but if this happens, it's gonna send shockwaves. But Laura Loomer tonight came out and said Tulsi Gabbard is expected to resign following the resignation of Joe Kent. Now, Brandon Dilley has been alluding to this. Dilley has been alluding to the fact that Tulsi may have had an affair with Kent. I don't know what to think about this. It would suck because I like Tulsi, and this will definitely break off more people. So people that are in the administration. So this will be a major shockwave through MAGA if this happens. So we need to pray that it doesn't. Did my stream just die? Oh no, there it comes back. That was weird. I just saw some. Says 2 days of testimony in front of Congress. She never once expressed support for Trump. So what I'll tell you guys is Loomer, this is the kind of thing that she gets right a lot, even though I don't think Laura Loomer is a good person. I've seen some of her stuff that's been outed about her on a personal level. I don't think she's a good person, but she tends to get this stuff right. If she gets this wrong, and she has gotten some big stuff wrong. She has. Like leading up to the election, she had this story about Taylor Swift was going to lead an election charge 2 weeks before the election and sign up 80,000, I don't know. And that never happened. So she does get stuff wrong, but she also gets more of it right than wrong. So just to watch this very carefully, this could also be planted. She could just be getting anonymous sources that are lying to her to try to throw this stuff out there. So we'll see what happens. But definitely have this on your radar so you're not surprised if it does happen. Because if it does, oh man, we are going to go through a couple weeks of nonstop insanity in the news if this happens. So just prepare yourselves just in case. But I hope it doesn't happen because I really like Tulsi too, and I would hate for her to be revealed as bad egg as well. So okay, next, just a couple things I wanted to share because this is winning, guys. Cam Higbee uncovers alleged scheme where homeless are paid for signatures on ballots in California. The fraud on elections and on government funds being stolen it's being exposed everywhere, which is excellent. It's good for Americans. It's good for policy. It's good for putting pressure on senators to get stuff done. This is winning. This is how we win. The American people come around this stuff, get awakened, and force Congress to do stuff. So great work there. Trump today revoked 200,000 Indian CDLs with the Prime Minister of India on the phone. That's so baller. But that's winning, guys. Like, we are fixing the immigration system left and right, and Trump just continues to do it in a very public way, especially when everybody criticizes him on something. He'll do something like this and just prove them all wrong, which I love. And then all weekend, 51 senators voted to debate the SAVE Act and give it a chance. That's now happening. We have a chance of this passing. I don't think it's a good chance, but the hope is alive and it is progressing farther. So we just need to keep praying that either the SAVE Act gets passed or something major happens from the election side on exposure that allows Trump to declare an emergency for the midterms. But better would be the SAVE Act being passed and make it law. So let's pray they can get this through. But they're also debating DHS funding, and they're trying to figure out a way to make the Save America Act, to attach it to a reconciliation bill so they can only pass it with 51 votes, which would get around the filibuster. So there's some good news out there, guys. And, you know, we're winning. We're winning in Iran. Things are happening. Things are happening. And, keep the faith. Keep the faith. It'll be rewarded. All right, guys, on that note, please hit that like, hit that subscribe. Let me catch up in the chat one more time before ending tonight. And let's see here. What did I miss? Thank you, Trish. You're very, very sweet. I appreciate that. MH says, hope Tulsi didn't have a relationship with Kent. Yeah, I do too. That would be crazy. Loomer's a Zionist. She's a hardcore Zionist. She's a hardcore Jewish Zionist. But it doesn't mean she's wrong on her reporting all the time, because she's not. And Laura's somebody I take seriously, even though I don't like her. Let me put it that way. Because she loves getting the gotchas, and she loves getting the scoop. So, have I heard about the Greater Alaska Project, all the Canadian territories becoming part of Alaska? No, I haven't heard of that. That's wild. That's absolutely wild. Night from the North Pole. All right, Downgrade. Appreciate you. All right, guys. Well, let's call it for tonight. It is very late. I'm tired. This is a long show, almost 2 hours. Tulsi has been awesome. I'm really hoping it doesn't happen. I've really liked her. But before you go tonight, please hit the like, please hit the subscribe. And we're going to end in a prayer, because we need prayer, guys. We need prayer to see these impossible things happen. We need prayer for President Trump to be protected and to keep winning. We need prayer for discernment to see through the psyops. We need prayer. It's prayer that got us here, prayer that gave us the miracle to get our country back. And we just have to keep praying. We cannot stop. We've won, but to see full victory, we need to keep our foot on the gas pedal. You know, we won Gettysburg, but Gettysburg turned the war. And after that, the North had to finish it. They couldn't stop, but they were winning after Gettysburg. That's what happened for us. We won Gettysburg. Now we have to keep our feet on the gas. So, and prayer is a part of that. So everybody who is a prayerful person, let's just take a second and thank God, and then we'll get out of here. So Heavenly Father, thank you for today. God bless everybody in this chat and watching. Father, just be with them. And God, I pray you'd open up all of our eyes to see what's really happening. So, and God, always see how you're moving, no matter how bad it looks. There's always a silver lining, because there's always hope. And ultimately, history does improve, even when we go through hard times. History shows we always come out of them. So we thank you for that, Lord. And I do believe the best is yet to come. But Father, we pray a blessing and protection over President Trump and his team. Bless them, protect them, watch over them, expose everybody who's trying to undermine this president and their mission. Undermine everybody who doesn't have the best plans for this nation. God, expose them and thwart their plans. Protect President Trump, give them wisdom, give them discernment, and Father, just pray prosperity, peace, and justice in our nation like never before. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. God bless you guys. Love you. Have a great night, and I'll see you this weekend if anything big happens. If not, have a great weekend. I'll see you guys Sunday or Monday. Okay? Peace out.
Screaming like a siren at night, red and blue shouting, nobody's right. Smoke in the streets, truth under attack. Everybody's loud, nobody's got facts. Feeds keep scrolling, nerves stay tight. Matchsticks flicked in the dead of night. They sell fear, cheap package the lies, while the clock keeps ticking, empires on fire. Can't sit quiet while the world's on edge. Lines in the sand, standing on the ledge. No script, no leash, no polish.